Good morning. All right, we're going to do that one more time. Just make sure you're awake. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, it's good to be here. Normally I'm sitting out there where you guys are, but I guess Bob couldn't find anybody to kick it off this morning, so he asked me to come. Bob is actually my old principal. Yeah, it sucked, but he always called me into the principal's office, and I never did anything wrong. But no, Bob was a great principal. It was ton. It was good. It was a ton of fun to have him as a principal. And something that you may not know about Bob, he really does have a heart. He does. He would call me in just to see how I was doing and things like that. So it is a real honor and privilege to be here with you this morning, to be able to kick off the Family Leadership Summit. You just got to see a little bit of my story. I'm Rob Rozenboom. I'm actually from the Pella area. Any Pella people? Hey, there's a few. They said I was Dutch. I wish they wouldn't announce that, but with a name like Rozenboom, you can't get away from it. But originally I was from Pella. My dad was a farmer. We used to farm near Pella, and then he became a pastor. I still think he screwed that deal up, but I was a farmer kid until I was 9 years old, and my dad felt a calling to become a pastor. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, Dad, that was the best business decision you ever made. It'd be worth $1 million right now on paper, but hey, let's go into ministry. That's so much better. So I left the farm when I was 9 years old, but the diagnosis came at 5. So for 37 years, I have fought a disease that won't go away. Right now, it's currently incurable. It's debilitating. It's progressive. And can I say, it's annoying. It is so annoying. Last night, I'm so excited to come to the family leadership. We're on our way down here. I dropped my daughter off to go hang out with my parents because they live by Knoxville. And I have this beautiful chair. And yes, it's yellow and black. Go Hawks. There's a reason it's yellow and black. Sorry, all you State fans, but... and all of a sudden, we were going to go to dinner. We had driven, so I'm a little stiff and sore and tired and whatever, and all of a sudden, the chair won't move. It's dead. Those are my arms and legs, and I am trying not to become crabby. Some would say that's debatable. And we're working with this thing, and I'm like, are you kidding me, God? Really? I knew you didn't want me to come speak at the Family Leadership Summit. I knew it. Bob told me I was going to suck anyway, so I knew I shouldn't be here. And so you start messing. All this stuff starts playing in your head, it's never done this before. It's a new chair. It's never done this before, and it won't move. You can't get it to do anything. I'm like, God, what is going on? So a couple guys that were with me, we find the owner's manual online. They start reading through it, and there was a code. It locked itself out through the joystick, and there's a sequence that you have to do in the joystick to release it so it will work. Yeah. That's intelligent. But so I have no arms, no legs. We finally get it to work, and we're like, all right, let's go to dinner. And we go to this beautiful restaurant, and my favorite thing in the world is to sit outside when it's warm outside because we live in this place called Iowa, and that doesn't happen all the time. So we're sitting outside having a beautiful dinner. It's time to go to the hotel. I'm getting tired. I'm like, I want to get ready for tomorrow. And all of a sudden we get to the hotel room, and I'm like, what's your name? Rob Rozenboom. Okay, your room's on floor 922. Okay, fantastic. Chair's working. I can take the elevator. We go up. I said, is it a roll-in shower room? Yes, it's a roll-in shower room. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it is. That's how my night's been going. So we wheel up there. No, it's not a roll-in shower room. I'm like, guys, come on. Oh, we'll get you in one. So we go back down. 4 more times we go up and down the elevator to rooms. And they're like, well, I thought it was. And I was like, Jesus loves you, but I'm going to kill you right now. I just want to shower in the morning. So about 45 minutes later, we finally get the room with the roll-in shower. And I'm like, God, you're awesome. What are you doing? And that started our journey down here. It was like first the chair wouldn't work, then the hotel wouldn't work. And I'm telling you this like this is abnormal. This is my life. Everywhere I go, this happens. I will argue with people on the phone to make them go walk to check the hotel to make sure it's a roll-in shower. I have driven from Sheldon, Iowa to Dallas, Texas, 13 hours straight, walked into the hotel room. They promised me it was a roll-in shower. Wasn't. Took 2 more hours to drive downtown, paid twice as much money for a hotel room to get in there. 15 hours later, I'm finally laying my head down on a bed. And I'm like, to you, that's no big deal. To me, that's everything. And it's like, come on, all you got to do is look a little bit. And so as you look at this disease, the word I use, annoying, because it is annoying. And so this morning, as we talk about principle over politics, I kept thinking, God, what do you want me to share? What can I share? And the pastor did a fantastic job talking about what principle is. It's foundation of beliefs, right? And so I started thinking, what word could I give you guys this morning that could be a principle? And you want to know the word that kept coming to me? Courage. And you want to know why courage? Because when you have this disease, you don't always have courage. Sometimes you're so annoyed, you're so depressed, you're so upset. Courage just isn't in your vocabulary. See, I've fought this disease for 37 years. It's debilitating, it's progressive, it's annoying, it doesn't go away. Someday I think it will, but currently it doesn't. And so when I say courage, I didn't have courage for a really long time because I was so afraid of being left out or forgotten. And as I look at the room today, I wonder how many of us fight that same thing. Not maybe in the same way, but we're worried about being forgotten or left out. Or the fear is so great that we decide to be silent, mute. We don't say anything. We just kind of go about life and we're polite. When they screw up our hotel room, we're polite. Oh, no big deal. I'll take an hour and a half to find a room. Thank you. Good job. But courage, God kept saying courage. And courage is what I need right now because I'm scared. I'm scared to watch my body deteriorate. They told me I will be in that full time. They told me that it will do this, it will do that. Last fall, it kind of reared its ugly head. In July, I fell and broke my collarbone. In September, our basement flooded, and by October, late September, my wife broke out in hives because of stress. Because it's just a lot to deal with. So the idea of courage gets a little misplaced. I was always taught, Rob, you're nothing, you're nobody, nobody will ever love you. I have a picture to prove to you that if you pay enough money, somebody will love you. Is there a picture up there? Okay, I lied. Don't pay any money because... Oh, there it is. So see that beautiful woman? That's my wife. See, all this time I thought nobody will ever love you. You'll never amount to anything. And then God gave me that beautiful, beautiful woman. I usually call her hot, but I didn't know if that was appropriate in here. This November will be 22 years. Yep. And no, I didn't pay her any money. I have been paying her a lot since I've been married to her, but not. And then that is my son. He's Jagger. He's 16. He's now strong enough to lift me and travel with me. That picture you saw him lifting me was at Rise Fest. The second picture, he was with me in Haiti in January. So although this disease is annoying, God still opens doors. I still get to travel. I still get to go to really neat places. That little redhead, that is everything I've ever done wrong in life. That is my 14-year-old daughter. And then my little Aiden, she's the blondie. She's going to be 12 at the end of the month. And you ask me, why do I need courage? Look at that picture. I've got teenage daughters. For those of you that have teenage daughters, teenage granddaughters, you know what I'm talking about. I am scared. I'm scared because there's these things called boys. I don't like them. Not right now. Little junior high boys. I need courage because I want my kids to one day respect me and love me, and maybe we'll have a friendship. But right now, I don't care about being friends. I care about being a dad. And so I need to have hard conversations with them. That doesn't mean they always like me. And the truth of the matter is, I really don't care. The other day, that little redhead, we were out on a boat, and this little boy drove by on a jet ski. And she goes, "Oh, he's cute." I said, "What'd you say?" That little boy went by on the jet ski again. I said, "Don't come back." Then we were having dinner the other night, and the little blonde was by the table, and my wife goes, "Yeah, some boys stopped by the house today while you were at work. Rang the doorbell." I'm like, "What, why? What are they here for?" And the one yelled backwards, "Sorry, Elliot, she's not home." And it wasn't even for the 14-year-old. It was for the 12-year-old. I'm going to start putting fences around my house. I need courage. I need courage to tell my kids what's right and what's wrong. I need courage to tell my kids that, you know what, one day I do hope you find somebody that you love deeply, but not at 14, not at 12. My 12-year-old's arguing with me right now because she doesn't have a phone. "I don't have a phone." I don't care. "I need a phone." No, you don't. You got breath in your lungs. You're going to be fine. When you're 13, 14, maybe we'll start talking about it. But right now, I don't need you to have a phone. I need you to just know Dad loves you, Mom loves you. I did get my 13-year-old a phone. She's 14 now, maybe about a year ago. Friends, I'm going to be deadly honest with you. It is the worst decision I ever made. You know what that has cost that little girl? This fall, I watched that little girl lay in the fetal position in our house, bawling because of something called Instagram, because of something called Snapchat. Facebook, you all know what it is, but they don't care because you all took it over. So they're on Snapchat and Instagram. But I have watched friendships deteriorate. I need to have the courage to say, you know what? You need to get off that. You need to put it down. See, what scares me the most is that my kids are going to be raised by culture rather than the church. I'm scared that my kids are going to be raised more by what's popular on TV and the news than what we're preaching on Sunday morning. That they're going to care more about being popular than they're ever going to care about the gospel. And I don't want that for my kids. I want my kids to understand that they need to have courage. I want my kids to understand that they need to know to stand up for what's right, that they don't need to be in all the popular settings, that this idea of fear of missing out. You ever heard the term FOMO? Fear of missing out. That's what it does to you when we're on social media all the time. Because we can make everything look beautiful on social media, even when everything else is falling apart around us. And we think, man, I missed out. I wasn't a part of that. I don't look as good as that individual. My life isn't as perfect. And it causes stress and fear and anxiety. And it's time to put fear and anxiety in the back seat. Because I am so tired of being told, Rob, you can't do something. Rob, you have a disease. You can't do it. How many of you are tired of hearing I can't? And it could be principle over politics. Saying what you need to believe, what you need to support, what you don't need to support. And what I'm saying is we need to have courage to say, I'm tired of it. I want to stand for this. See, I'm tired of being told I can't do something, so I decided, I think there's going to be another picture here to jump out of an airplane. My mouth is open for a reason. My father-in-law told me, you probably don't have strength enough in your jaw that if you open your mouth when you're up there, it probably won't close. Well, just to prove him wrong, I opened my mouth. We jumped out of an airplane. That was crazy. My wife loved every minute of it. As we jumped out of the airplane and we were coming to the ground, the guy goes to me, can you lift your legs? I'm like, no. We talked about this before I got in the plane. He's like, well, you're going to need to. Jesus, I need a miracle now. As the ground came, I was pulling with everything I could. All I did was pull my pants up. My legs didn't go anywhere. We landed, the left leg went that way, the right leg went that way, and they came over and filmed me. How was it? Oh, it was great. Could you pull that leg forward? Then my wife comes in, woo, Rob, that was awesome. I was like, yes, it was. She goes, I want to do it again. I was like, that's a good idea. You do it again. I'll watch from the ground. It was an amazing rush. It was beautiful. And I did it because I was told I couldn't do it. I did it because my mother-in-law did it, my father-in-law did it, my sister-in-laws did it, my nephews did it, and I wasn't going to be the loser in the family that didn't do it. And I love when people tell me I can't do something. So I jumped out of an airplane. And then about 2 years ago, I jumped in a NASCAR. We have one more picture. This is me coming out of the NASCAR. It was at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We were doing an event thing with Rick Hendrick, the NASCAR owner. And I said to him, can I get into the NASCAR? And they said, yes, we think we can get you in the NASCAR. I said, if you can get me in, I want to go. So I wheeled out there. See that big head? That's my head getting lifted in. They had to physically lift me in because you go in like the Dukes of Hazzard. The door doesn't open. So they put my legs in, they put my back in, and the only thing left was my rear end. And the only person not helping was a gal that was there, and I was like, just touch it. Just touch it. I want to go in the NASCAR. My wife will not be offended. She's not even here. Just push it in. So she did. And we went 160 miles an hour around that track. And every time we got close to the wall, I prayed, Jesus, I don't want to die tonight. And it was in those moments that I found a little bit of courage to do it. But friends, that's not the courage I'm talking about today. The courage I'm talking about today is more like Joshua and Caleb. As I was thinking about this word courage, and I was thinking about this idea of principle over politics, the story of Joshua and Caleb and Moses came to me. So God comes to Moses and he says, hey, go check out the land of Canaan. I want you to take 12 leaders. Maybe you know the story, maybe you don't. So 12 leaders go out. Joshua and Caleb are part of that group. They go and they check out the land, and it's full of milk and honey, and it's beautiful, and they've got plush grapes. But as they go out to this country, they see individuals that are big. They call them giants. And so they come back and they report to Moses what they found. And 10 of them are like, there's giants there. Those cities are fortified. We can't overtake them. We're like little grasshoppers. And I love Joshua and Caleb. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about, but we can do it. And the 10 are like, no, we can't. Nope, can't do it. Listen to Caleb's words. Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, we should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it. What happened? The 10 outspoke the 2, and they wandered for another 40 years. Where are you at today, family leader? What's whispering in your ear? Courage? Or the fear? The lies of fear? You can't do it. You know, because I believe it's time to stand for what is right. I believe it's time to love like Jesus. I believe it's time to put fear and anxiety in the back and tell them to stay there. How many of you wake up and you have fear in your heart and you're like, I know God's calling me to do something, but I just can't. Because if I do, this may happen, or if I do, this may happen. We're here at what's this called? The Family Leadership Summit. It is time for leaders to stand up, right? And I'm not saying we need to go to battle and swords and all that. What I'm saying is we need to have the courage of Almighty God inside of our hearts. We need to stand for what's right. We need to be good husbands. We need to be great wives. And that was a fantastic story. I'm going to tell my wife on the way home. She should buy me a $1 million car. I think that's fantastic. We need to love our kids. We don't need to be friends with them right now. We need to love them. We need to push it's time for the light to push back the darkness. It's time to stop shrinking back and start running forward. Right? It's time to say, hey, this is what we stand for. We love Jesus. Because he's what really changes everything. It's time for courage to take over. Instead of running backwards, we run forwards. And I wonder, Family Leadership Summit, and I'm saying this to myself as well, is it time to put Jesus back on the throne? I know I need to. I try to control way too much. No more I can't, but more I will. Lord, use me with courage. I just watched a movie the other night. It was called The Green Book. Came out, true story, long time ago. And it was crazy as this word courage kept coming up. The movie was very, very good movie. But he ended with this. The gentleman asked him why the piano player, if you don't know the movie, it was an African-American piano player that wanted to tour the Deep South, and his employee was a Caucasian man. During the time of that would not look the way it does today. So they go to the Deep South, and there's times that they're bringing this individual in to play the piano in front of the most prestigious people in the world, but they won't let him use the bathroom, or they won't let him eat in the same dining room. And so the man that's working for him asked his band players, why does he want to do this? He doesn't answer him for a few scenes. And then he ends with this. Because courage changes people's hearts. Ooh, courage changes people's hearts. When we decide to start standing for what is right, when we start to stand and love like Jesus loves, when we start to be individuals that care more about raising our kids than being friends with our kids, when we start to preach the gospel, we start to let courage show more than fear, it changes people's hearts. I pray that you have a magnificent day today. And I pray no matter what you're wrestling with, no matter what that is, God's whispering in your heart or your ear, that you will find the courage to pursue it. See, I see we have some what I call veterans in the room today. I'm not making fun of you. I'm saying you're very wise. And I love seeing that. But sometimes, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like when you hit a certain age, you're like, well, maybe God's done with me. Nah, if there's breath in your lungs, he still wants to use you. My father-in-law, who I love, where the festival grounds are, helped farm the other half of it. And he said something to me this year. He's not farming it anymore. There's been a transition in the ground, and so he doesn't have to farm it anymore. And he goes, man, I'm glad I'm not farming that anymore. If I had to farm that, I'd be dead. I'm like, no, you wouldn't. There's still breath in your lungs, man. Oh, it's the stress. No, it's not that big a deal. You're still breathing. You're still playing pickleball. You're still playing tennis. You're a happy guy. See, as long as there's breath in your lungs, God's going to use you. Family leader, are you ready to stand with courage? I don't care your age. I don't care if you're young, old, in the middle. It's time to stand. It's time to stand for what is right, and it's time to proclaim the message of Jesus. Amen, and thank you.
We really want to see kids impacted for Christ to leave here as ambassadors for Christ, no matter what their call.